Hello and welcome to Braves Breakdown. My name is Justin Ayers and I'm the Communications Coordinator here at North Adams Community Schools. Before we get started, make sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our school's YouTube page. Today I'm joined by Leila Jin, who is a member of our girls tennis team. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course.
Tell me a little bit about how you got into the sport.
Okay, so whenever I was younger, like in kindergarten, my dad would always take me and my sister out to the courts because he was a pretty good tennis player. He loved the sport so much. So he'd always play by himself, but since he had us, he'd take us out and start playing. Throughout middle school, I went to St. Joe and it didn't have a tennis team, so I had to go to Bellmont and play for them. But it wasn't really I didn't really take it seriously. But once I got into high school, I realized that, I'm going to take this more seriously now because whenever I was a freshman, I joined and I was on varsity. So my dad's like, okay, well, we need to give her some more practice, especially during the winter whenever I have nothing to do. So he'd take me up to the club up in Fort Wayne. It's called Wildwood. And I went there sophomore, junior year, and this past year. But during the summer, I don't do that because I practice with my dad.
So how's the team look this year?
So far, it's looking very good. Our varsity is undefeated. And recently, we played in a tournament. We didn't really do as well because I feel like our lineup was really messed up. We had 2 people missing, and then our third one, first 3 singles, she kind of backed out last minute because she got sick. So we had to quickly call somebody and tell them to come play with us if they could. And then she did end up coming, but that was good for us, I feel like. But so far, varsity's doing pretty good.
Can you kind of talk me through just how tennis works, how matches go, and explain the difference between 1 singles, 3 singles, doubles?
Yeah. There's 5 spots on varsity, which is 1 singles, 2 singles, 3 singles, and those are kind of ranked in order of how well and how good of a player you are. So 1 singles is obviously the best, and then there's 2 doubles teams. So 1 doubles is obviously better than 2 doubles, but there's 5 teams or positions on varsity, and to win against another team, you'd have to at least get 3 to win on varsity. So that'd be 3-2, that's the best you can win, and then 4-1 and 5-0, that's how you win.
And so what are you?
I'm 1 singles.
And so how would coach determine somebody who's in singles versus somebody who goes into doubles?
I feel like at the beginning of the year, he kind of just puts you and he sees how you play. And before you go into high school, you kind of say whenever you first join the team, you're just oh, I prefer to be a singles player or I prefer to be a doubles. It's kind of how well you want to work with another person. And obviously singles, you're by yourself, and doubles, you have a partner. So you kind of determine how well you want to work with that person. And sometimes we have people move back and forth. So if they don't really care, Arnold will our coach Arnold will kind of just determine okay, you're better here, and practice determines kind of that, I feel like.
How's this year's team different than last year's team?
So far, I feel like our team's pretty young. We have 2 seniors, but compared to last year, we've already played on varsity. So last year we only lost our 1 doubles teams, but our 2 doubles is pretty good. And I feel like compared to them, they're pretty even. And obviously, it's kind of hard losing 2 seniors who are your 1 doubles, but I feel like we have more experience, and especially with the higher levels.
So who are some of the underclassmen on this team that really stick out?
Definitely Avery Coates. She's a sophomore this year, but last year she was a freshman, obviously. But she's been she had a lot of experience with varsity and higher up, and I know she played in middle school, so I feel like that's really good experience for her. And she really impresses me, and I feel like the rest of our team, she's really good. She's really good at last year she played singles too, so this year she's a doubles player. And I feel like she's really good anywhere you put her, and she's always willing to. She has a lot of determination, and she does not. I've never seen her mad. So she has a really good attitude and really good mentality for this sport, which is something important that you need to have for tennis.
So who are some of the leaders on the team?
I feel like when you think of a leader on varsity, it's kind of more of the 1 singles and 1 doubles, but I feel like our team's kind of different that way because you might expect the best player to obviously be a leader, but for our team, I feel like because we have such a strong and close connection with everybody, I feel like because I'm 1 singles and then we have a senior that's 2 doubles, and I feel like not just because we're seniors doesn't mean that we're the only leaders. A varsity as a whole compared to the rest of JV, I feel like everybody just kind of looks up to each other. It's not really one person leading everything, it's more of a team thing.
So what's your favorite thing about your team?
I feel like we're really close, and we don't really do our own, tennis is a sport where you do your own thing, but especially at practice, like we get separated into doubles teams and then singles practices separately, but whenever like a lot of the times at practice we end with a game, and that's always fun because we always connect with each other, and that's a time that we can not one just socialize, but like kind of work with each other and see how well, like maybe a singles player has something to tell the doubles player, and like here's some advice for this. Even though it's just a game, like I feel like we're all close and we have a good ability to work with each other.
Is there anything you guys do outside of just tennis that connects you guys?
For varsity, we have like a tournament, like once per season, and I feel like that kind of helps varsity connect with each other well because the bus ride is kind of long. We went to DeKalb this past weekend, and on the way back, I know the team went to Starbucks, so that was kind of cool because I feel like, I don't know, we're just closer together and we're like all just there at the moment. So doing that was fun.
What is your favorite thing about the sport of tennis?
For me, I like how it's an individual game. Like, even if you have a doubles partner, it's just you and your partner against whoever you're playing. So that kind of helps with, like, your mental health because you had to, or, like, your mental attitude because you had to determine, like, even if you have a doubles partner, like, you need to communicate with them well. And, like, for me as a singles person, I like how it's just me against whoever I'm playing, and I don't have anybody else to, like, get upset at, or, like, I don't have to feel bad for the other person. But I like how it's just an individual sport at that point, but then once like it gets to varsity and determining who wins, it's more of a whole team effort, and so you still have to like rely on whoever else your team is, but I like how it's like individual but not really.
How's your coach help contribute to your team chemistry?
So I feel like our coach, it also helps that he's a teacher because we like most of us have him in class, or even if we don't, like he's also really young, so I feel like that helps him be more involved with like the stuff that we're in outside of tennis. So like for example, our team, like since we're all girls and he's like the only guy, it's kind of fun to see like how he reacts to like drama that's happening in our lives, and he doesn't really care, but like it's just fun to see like how his expressions and attitude towards that is like, even if it's not tennis, it's fun to see like he's involved with everything. So like sometimes he'll ask us about like how's your classes going, or what do you guys have planned after this, like after practice or anything. So I feel like I like how he's young but also involved in our lives other than tennis. That makes sense.
How has he helped you become a better tennis player?
I like how at practice, so last year, the past couple of years, like it's his first time being a tennis coach, so I'll give him that, but this year he's doing a really good job of separating singles teams and doubles teams. So singles teams, because he has more help this year, he has like one assistant coach and then he has 2 managers, which is really helpful for him because last year we were kind of short on staff, so it was kind of hard for him to just do everything by himself. But this year I like how he's separating the singles teams. For example, all the singles players, which is like 4 or 5 of us, will go and do a drill that he has one of the managers or assistant coach set up. And I like how he separates the varsity teams, which we have 2 doubles teams, so he has them do a separate drill. And then he has another, like the JV players, which is the JV doubles teams, most of them, they have a separate drill for themselves. So it doesn't matter like if they have a certain drill that they do. Like even if it's the same drill, it's kind of a one-on-one training for that, and I like that. So that's kind of helped me as a singles player. Like he focuses on what we did well and what we didn't do well on in the last match. So he looks at that, and then the next practice he kind of determines like, okay, we need to work more on this, or we need to work more on this. So then at practice we can take it to another level and say, okay, work specifically on this one shot, or work specifically on your serves. You need to do more of this, or you need to do more of this. Like it's kind of a one-on-one training, and I like that more than, like I feel like that helped me more as a player this year especially, and it helps other people on the team as well.
How's the sport helped you grow as a person?
A large part of the sport, tennis, is you have to like have a good mental attitude while you're playing, because after one bad shot, it's hard to just say, okay, after this, like I got the next one. Like you could just say that, but then the next one you can be like, well, last time I did bad. Like during the match, since specifically for me and like other singles players, you're by yourself, so it's just like you have nobody else to talk to you. And like even in between sets, like your coach is allowed to talk to you and help you with stuff, but you're still like by yourself in the courts, and you still have to say, like you have to keep your head up high whenever like, especially if you miss like a shot and it's just one like shot that you like miss, you lose a point, right? And then in one game it's like only a few points, so like you could easily lose one game just because of your mental health towards how you're playing, especially when you're losing, like by a lot.
So what would little Leila, looking at you, who started playing tennis at a young age, be most proud of you for right now?
Okay, wait, more specifically, because my dad has taught me how to play and how to hit these certain shots, and he's gone out with me all summer, every single summer since I've played, I feel like little me would be most proud of me for beating my dad. Because it's throughout my whole middle school career and my high school career, I have been trying to beat my dad forever, and I'm pretty sure like either last year or 2 years ago, I have finally beat my dad, and that has made me so happy since then. And like I feel like now, whenever I play with him, it's just like my only goal is just to beat him in this game that we're playing. And because when I was younger, he'd always say, okay, if you beat me in this, like even because I was young, he'd be like, if you hit this shot, or if you hit this shot over here, I'll give you ice cream after this or something. Like he'll give me like a little reward, but that's just like one shot or two shots. But now it's just like, can I beat him in a whole game, or can I beat him in hitting these shots, and like not even like just winning. I feel like hitting good shots against him and him being surprised at that, I feel like little me would be most proud of.
What would you tell somebody who's considering joining the girls' tennis team?
I feel like you should just join. Like it doesn't matter. You don't have anything to lose. In high school, you just if you're just thinking about it or considering anything, just do it. Because I have never heard one person that has joined tennis say that they hate it, or I've never heard one person say that it's not fun. Like everybody I know, even this year, like we had two seniors join, and like they think it's the most fun thing ever. I feel like you don't have to be good at the sport. It's just fun, especially if you have like a doubles partner. It doesn't even matter if you have somebody else to play with. Even by yourself, I feel like it's pretty fun sport, and connecting with a team is always good, or just to have like social interactions with other people, especially on the tennis team. I feel like we're all close, even if you're a doubles partner, or even if you're like a doubles player or a singles player, you're always close with somebody else. And like I would say just do it.
Sweet. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course.
That is all for this episode of Braves Breakdown. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and subscribe to the North Adams Community Schools YouTube page. We will see you next time when we speak with a member of the boys volleyball team. Have a good one, Bellmont.